everybody. This is Dr. Saida Desilets. Very excited for this conversation we're about to have today with Jensine Larsen. She's one of my sheroes. I love what she's doing. We're specifically excited to support what she's doing this year again with the Jade Egg Mastery Live and Redefining Feminine Power movement. So Jensine, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Saida. You're one of my sheroes as well.
Yes. So I think we should jump in because I just feel like there's so much change happening on the planet. We tend to focus on the negative. I would love to hear like what's happening in your world with the women you're helping around feminine power and the redefinition of that power, because I know you're on the pulse of that.
Yes, absolutely. So with World Pulse, our global network is comprised of women who are logging on from over 190 countries. So we are truly hearing women's voices, hearing their solutions as they are sharing their resources with each other and just telling the truth about what's really happening behind the headlines. And our network, it's about 66,000 women today who are impacting 12.6 million lives with their new and expanded initiatives that are just exploding because of the digital connectivity that they're having with each other. I love the theme of feminine power. And I think power is the root of what women are grappling with for centuries upon centuries of believing that they didn't have power, that their voices didn't matter, that they were maybe fed last out of their family or told that they were no better than a cow or a pig or a chicken, didn't deserve education. These are the kinds of things that we're hearing that women have been told in so many parts of the world, even in the United States. And what I'm witnessing today is a real paradigm shift where as women are becoming more in touch with each other and connected to the movements that women are leading around the world, they're starting to more rapidly transform their own belief in their own power to make this change. Whether that is from running for office in the Philippines, not even believing that this is something that they could literally do, and suddenly starting to do that and actually getting elected into office, or standing up to fight for peace in Cameroon right now, where there's a big conflict and women who are English speaking and French speaking are being pitted against each other in their region, are actually saying, no, as women, we stand for peace. We're not going to politicize this. And they're beginning to collect the stories of women all across the country, or women who are fighting cyber attacks and cyber harassment in countries like Pakistan, bringing girls to school. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Wow. Yeah, that is incredible. Yeah, thank you for saying that, because there's, as we all know, fake news, and then there's the world, and there's what's hype, and then there's the reality. And I think that's really, really important. I love what you're saying too, because I think it's when the collective, when we actually come together, we actually have conversation, we actually choose to take that step of curiosity and inquiry. Not only do we learn what's really going on, but we start to contribute to the solution, right? So that's super exciting to hear that.
Yeah, there's one area in particular that even is taboo in my country, in the United States, and that's around the power of women's monthly cycles of menstruation. And it's something that we have been hiding the power of our own bodies and our own ability to create life, and taught that it's dirty and shameful. And one of the most popular topics that women are talking about right now is ending the taboo of menstruation. So, for example, there's a number of women who are starting their own social enterprises around creating products and bringing prosperity to their communities, but they're also engaging men. There's a woman in Bangalore in India. Her name is Urmila, and she's created this global campaign called Breaking the Silence. And she literally started by taking buses to villages and going into high schools and gymnasiums of girls and just bringing out paper and pencil to show the womb and the menstrual cycle and how natural it was. And she's become this rock star and has educated over 8,000 women and girls about the power of their bodies and health, but has sparked movements in Uganda, in the United States, also in Pakistan, is doing live Zoom calls with different women leaders starting these movements, and engaging men, where
Yeah.
she has created a men's motorcycle ride in
Oh,
her
wow.
city.
Yeah.
For 40 men get together on 40 bicycles to celebrate the 40 years that women menstruate.
Wow.
And they do this 40-mile ride with signs, all in honor of women and the power of women to create life. It's just unbelievable, and
It's
really
amazing.
the shift of power.
So to make this real, this is a woman that World Pulse supported, and through that support, she's like created this global movement, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She left a very abusive relationship with a child and was deeply depressed. This is her words, and she didn't know if life was worth living, and found World Pulse, logged on, suddenly told her story, and women around the world were supporting her. She realized, oh my God, I matter, and I can actually change my circumstances. And she started talking about her vision for men's ending taboo around menstruation, and just has grown it now, impacting over 8,000 people.
Amazing. So I love this because so one of the discussions I've had around redefining feminine power is also having a look at kind of like cheap power, like what's easy and available, but it's actually degrading in the long run. And so those I identified as two things. One was identifying as victimhood and using that to move forward, or manipulation, like the seductive manipulation that can be used to also like move things forward. And what I'm hearing here is that those elements are being shed, and women are genuinely stepping into their version of true authentic power and voice and coming forward. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it knows no boundaries, no geographic boundaries. And that's the same thing for women here in my country, in the United States, where we can, there's often a sense of powerlessness of how can I really make a difference in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but starting to come into realizing our power to reach out to women globally, and even just through the power of relationship and saying I see you, we can be transformative, and
Absolutely.
shedding that belief that we can hide behind that, oh, there's nothing really that I can do.
Mm. That's huge, right? So when a woman, so here we are, the women who are going to be watching this are considering literally saying yes to taking care of their female bodies and harnessing that and making time to really nourish themselves, making time to make sure that their behaviors are not creating long-term problems, because we're all into prevention with this practice. So even just like postures or bad habits can actually lead to prolapse, can lead to a lot of problems that are completely preventable. So as those women are deciding, like, and not only that, there's been sister wounds, right? There's been issues of women comparing and competing and, all of that. And so the idea that we can come together in a genuine way, in a genuine community, it's almost like really that exists. And that's another reason why I want to talk to you today, because not only does it exist in my little small kind of community world, but in your world, it's like a pretty big, did you say it was 12.6 million people now that are impacted? Like it's a,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's grown since last year, because I still had the information, I guess, from last year. I went to the site, but it was still 7 point something million. And so I'm really excited that in 1 year, it's had almost like a doubling in size, which is incredible.
Yeah, that's that. We just got our impact numbers in the last few weeks. So this
Oh,
is new
wow.
information. It's the largest impact growth jump that we've had in 1 year's time.
Yeah.
So it's accelerating.
So there's a need. There's an absolute need. Can you tell us a little bit more, like, because the women who are going to invest in the program, I've
Yes.
told them that a portion of that investment will be going to World Pulse. Can you explain more, like, what happens? Like, how is that leveraged?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, just celebrating those who are investing in the program, investing in yourselves, taking that step to really claim your own self-worth and value and power is awesome. And as part of this, your support is going to be able to go to World Pulse, which does a few things. One, it's investing in one of the most rare, safe online spaces in the world for
Mm.
women, and where any woman can log on. We make sure that there's no trolling, no harassment, no attacking. So there's full freedom of expression for women coming from very oppressive situations included,
Mm.
and the ability for these women to be able to have a community where they can grow their leadership, they get visibility, we feature their stories, women get story awards, they're getting dollars and honorariums for their stories that they're telling, and their stories are getting shared with major media outlets and other types of forums and institutions. And that those resources and that visibility is directly strengthening these women's leaders' ability to make impact. And you wouldn't believe, even a small honorarium, women are investing in their schools for girls or their businesses around menstrual empowerment products, as I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are investing in their ability to uh, push for greater economic policy for teachers in
Right.
their region, for example. So the women leaders who have been invisible, who have been ignored, are actually getting seen, they're getting heard, they're getting listened to, they're accessing resources, they're getting promoted, their voices are getting promoted, and that results in an average of 2,000 more people that each member of World Pulse is able to impact over a
Oh,
2-year
wow.
period.
Amazing,
So
right?
the ROI of, say, $50 in one woman will impact 2,000 more women ultimately.
That's incredible. And I don't
Yeah,
think it's been
yeah,
done
it's
much in the
incredible.
past, right? It's just not been done. And the thing that I'm excited about our collaboration is that a lot of women put self-care and their sensuality and sexuality last. So the fact that they're actually bringing it up and investing there, the other piece that I love about it is that when you're investing in yourself, you're investing in another person. And I think this pay it forward piece is really important right now, especially because, at least in the US, there's a lot of discussion around what do we do when we have privilege and others don't. This is how we do it. We take care of ourselves, but we also like connect and bridge the gap. So
Yes, because it's not an either or.
mm-mm.
We can invest in ourselves, but be investing in the collective at the same time.
Exactly.
We don't have to make be slicing ourselves when we take action. And same thing, we can be investing locally in the United States, but we can also be investing globally at the same time. It's
Right.
we're actually stronger when we're creating diversification with our actions.
Fantastic. So before we go, I mean, I'd love to talk to you all day for sure. It's so amazing. But before we go, I would love to hear, like, what's one thing you'd love to leave the listeners with when we're considering literally redefining feminine power and the impact that has as we move forward?
Well, what I would leave you with is that we have not yet seen what is possible as women fully step into ourselves and we begin to radically transform power and transform the world.
Mm,
That's what we up in the morning. That we are only limited by our imaginations.
mm,
And right now, let's be dreaming bigger, let's be dreaming bolder. I know it can feel like there's so many pressures and oppressions coming down that we're rolling back, but let's leapfrog ahead with our imagination and be unbounded, because what is coming is literally has not even been born yet on the planet, this greater collective feminine intelligence that is about to happen.
Wow.
And technology will be a big part of bringing us there. So claim your power with technology. Don't be a victim to your cell phone or your computer, or catch yourself saying like, oh, I'm a victim, I have no power. Use it for good, use it for your health and well-being. Log off when it's not benefiting you and you're getting fried and wired out. Just own your technology, because it's going to be a transformative element for women completely healing the planet.
Fantastic. And Jensine, I'm so curious, because I would love to not only, be doing the financial gifting, but if there's any other way that I can, or my community can support in a greater way, or like with a piece of information or anything like that, I would just love to know that. And you may not have the answer in this moment, but I want to really posit that, because yeah.
Yeah, I have the answer for that. And whether it's 5 minutes once a month, once a year, once a day, we invite you to log on to World Pulse and read a few stories from women. Every hour, every minute, women are speaking out, and simply by leaving a comment on their post, on their story, it can change their life. It seems very little, but it's helping everyone's voice be heard in the World Pulse community. And you are becoming part of a bigger collective global sisterhood when you do that. At the time that you have, if you're waiting in line at the bank, or you're waiting for a friend out in the car, you can take a few minutes and download the World Pulse app and scroll and post, and you literally will be transforming lives, and your own as well.
I love it. I love it. I think I'm going to put a link to that somewhere with this video so that we can have that. Thank you so much for your wisdom, your passion, for what you're growing, what you're standing for. And I also really want to thank every woman that's taking a stand for her life and not allowing her circumstances to determine her creativity and like you said, what she's able to dream into and make possible. Because that for me is, I think Western women need to hear that, because we create so much limitation and we have so much available to us. So thank you for inspiring us, and just such an honor to be with you again today.
Well, thank you, Dr. Saida, and it's an honor to be connected. And I hope to stay connected with all your viewers and all your supporters online, and have the chance to hear your voices and be part of this bigger global movement we're creating together.
Absolutely. Well, here's to World Pulse. Here's to the women saying a yes to the Jade Egg Mastery. And together we're actually all shifting the world, both inwardly and outwardly. And I love it. So let's pay attention. I'll put a bunch of links.
Log on, rise up.
Yes, log on, rise up.
All right,
I love it.
Rise up.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, lots of love to you, everyone. Bye.